Sure.
in the interview.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of
Yeah, that's awesome. It's,
get comfortable here.
let's see. We'll do a voice recorder also, in case I want to do it. Your voice over pictures or something somewhere. Something that you say. Put over. Okay.
All right.
And start by introducing yourself.
Hi, my name is Greg Hain, and I grew up in Woodland, just north of Davis. And originally I was into BMX, and at some point had a buddy who had a half pipe and out in the country in Woodland, and so I used to go ride my bike there. And at some point, he got into skateboarding, and he had a Christian Hosoi, and so I went out and riding the ramp, and I was like, hey, I want to try that out. So he just kind of showed me how to fakie, and I think I spent the whole afternoon just like pumping up the walls. And,
What year was that?
Oh man, that was probably '83.
Wow.
I want to say.
Okay.
And so, yeah, pretty soon. I mean, I was like riding the ramp on my bike, quarter pipes. People would make quarter pipes in the driveway and stuff, and go out to the Woodland ditch, and I was riding my bike out there, and so that's when after that, after I started riding a skateboard on the ramp, I was just like, fuck BMX. I just wanted to skate. So yeah, I pretty much I was into freestyle BMX and all that kind of stuff. And I just started riding a board and met some really cool kids at high school. When I went to Woodland High, and they. I just go over to their house, and my friend Kirk, Roberts, Chad Lesneski, Chuck Smith. Chuck had a half pipe in his backyard, so we used to skate over there a lot, and we skate the Woodland Ditch. And
Do you remember who all was there at the Woodland Ditch when you skated there?
well, so that's when I first met Steve Bryant. He and his girlfriend Lori had moved out here from Texas, and Steve was teaching high school in South Sacramento, and they were living in Davis, and so one day we were out at the ditch, and there were all these cars out there, and it's like people would show up from Davis, Sacramento, East Bay, all over the place, and it was just so the ditch was like right off of Highway 5, and there was like a storage place called Stow It. So this drainage ditch ran behind Stow It, and there was like a little dirt driveway kind of right along the fence there. So everybody parked there and hop the fence and go skate, and sometimes there would be like 30, 40 people there, just from all over the place. And
Can you name any names?
uh,
Any names you can think of?
oh man, gosh. Well, that's where I met Steve. Steve and Lori were there. I think Ron was there.
Is that where you met
Sam,
Ron?
yeah. Sam Cunningham. I think Mitch Hawkins maybe was out there. Oh man.
People from Davis?
People, yeah. Well, Tim and Cody, Hoy, Adrian Tucker, probably those four were always hanging out together.
Okay.
And Woodland guys, Todd Harris, James Jordan, Kirk Roberts, and some of the Vacaville guys, Joe, and I can't remember all the names, man.
Okay.
It's hard to imagine
Cool.
that it was almost 40 years ago.
That's
You know.
And so Tim called up and was like needed somewhere to crash for a while, and so my friend Matt and I were living in what do we call it, Psycho Bill's apartments on the corner of like 3rd and B Street, and so I'm like, oh sure, Matt and I. Sure, we'll put you up. And we had this roommate, Cindy, at the time, and I'm like, oh, she'll be cool with it. So Tim shows up. I get home, and Tim's there with all his stuff. He's got like a Randall half stack and like all his worldly possessions out there by the front door because nobody was home.
What year was this?
87, 88, maybe something like that. So we like figured our roommate would be cool with it, and so we moved everything, moved his stuff in the living room, and then our roommate gets home, and oh man, she was not happy about the situation at all, and we ended up working out a deal. She's like, I'm paying this much money for my little room upstairs or whatever, and he's got the whole living room. I want to live in the living room, and he can have my room. So we worked it out, and Tim was living there for a while, and it was just like tiny room. He had this like Randall half stack sitting in there, like taking up half the room, and it was the party palace. Everybody was over there, hanging out all the time. And
Why did Donna throw him out? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't remember what that was all about.
And
But
how long-
anyway, he
How long did he stay there?
a few months, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you go back home after that or move on?
I don't remember if they, if he got to move back home or what. I can't remember. You might
Moved
have
in with Oy, I think.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
that could be.
That's right. Okay.
Back in the day.
What was the idea behind the zine?
Gosh,
When did that start?
So trying to think. So I met Ron probably through Steve, and out at the ditch and everything, and we got to be friends. And I used to go hang out. He used to work at the rec hall in this like little cafe thing called Time Out. It was like a kind of a sports themed thing. He had his like ref shirt and his little ref hat that he would wear for work, and he was like the manager there or something. And so I just go hang out, when I wasn't in class or something like that. And so we used to skate around a lot and stuff. And I don't know, when we decided to do a zine, but like other people were doing zines and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, we should do this thing, And so I think when we came up with the name, it was like, he had the Fly moniker at that point. So he was the Fly, so we ended up calling it Fly Paper.
It was called Fly Paper because
Yeah.
he was called the Fly.
Yeah.
Do you remember why it was called the Fly?
I don't even remember where that came from. If that was,
Seems like
yeah, he was
no one
just
can
named
answer
as
that
the
question.
Fly. So we put this thing together, and just kind of figured it out like everybody does. The whole DIY thing. We used to go to the Kinko's over there on G Street, and kind of like schmooze the manager there, and it's like, hey, we'll put an ad in for Kinko's in our zine. We got his business card and put it in there. I can't remember if he flowed us the being able to go in and do all the photocopies and putting this thing together. I mean, they had everything there. You know, it's like I didn't know what galleys were at that point, but later on I did like a layout at the Aggie, and but you know, just like getting a glue stick and you know, I had a typewriter, and I just like type out all the stuff and glue pictures in this thing, and go to Kinko's and copy everything. And they had like a saddle stapler, you know, we'd staple everything together. And I don't even know how many we actually did.
Where were you hoping to, like, how far would they distribute?
Well, let's see, there was I don't remember where, if there was anywhere in Davis we distributed them. I mean, there was in Woodland, there was this toy store, and they started carrying skateboards at some point when it was becoming popular.
Was that on Main Street?
Yeah, Foy's.
I kind of remember. Oh, Foy's.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's actually where I got my first board.
Foy's Toys.
Foy's Toys.
That's
yeah.
right. I forgot about that place.
And
wow.
Yeah, they used to. Well, actually, it was Foy. It was ended up being Foy's Bikes. Was where when I was doing the zine. So they used to have them out in the case. You know, I'd take them. You know, however many copies, and put them in there. And I don't remember where else we distributed them, but I think we took them around to other shops or something like that.